I actually started learning Polish years ago, but then I stopped completely. We all start learning something new at some point, but then we eventually stop because life gets too busy. For me personally, I started taking a course when we still lived in Germany, then Corona hit and the course got cancelled. But since I'm now living in Poland with my wife and my daughter, learning Polish is not just a nice to have thing, it's a necessity and not optional anymore. And recently I realized more and more I understand a lot. I understand more and more just in daily life situations, but my ability to speak and produce and simply communicate with people, that's not really making any progress, and that feels frustrating. So this time I decided to restart properly, not only as a hobby and nice to have, but really as a part of my actual life here in Poland. So if you're also trying to build a new life in a foreign country, or you just want to focus on slowly improving yourself, then this channel is exactly about that. Oh look, I found my old Polish books and notes again. It really feels like meeting an old version of myself and remembering all the years back when I started or wanted to learn it, and now I actually live here in Poland. I guess we all have those kind of things we start but then never really finish. At the same time, I think in terms of language learning, or I guess there are also different things, that's not really something you ever finish. You also don't just stop living. It's so connected and just present in daily life that language is not something you can really finalize or finish. And this reminds me of early school years when you start to learn English, for example. You're insecure, you're worried about how to pronounce that even. I think everyone knows that feeling. And the same thing repeats decades later in Poland. Simple dzień dobry or the most basic sentences feel like so harder than they have to be. I didn't really study or practice for a long time using it with native people. Best example, like the local flower shop or relaxed shops where you have a bit of time to talk to those people, not some supermarket environment, and you understand what they say, you understand what they ask, but answering properly is a completely different story. And this is probably what many people experience when they learn a new country or start living in a new country, that it's not only about understanding words or learning vocabulary, joining conversations or trying to make conversation with people they don't know that you don't speak Polish. Those conversations already happen and they don't slow down. They don't adapt really, unless of course they know, and then they speak a bit more slowly. But that's the difficult part. And in terms of words and understanding, this can feel like very small, because as I said, I understand the things sometimes, but it's basically omnipresent all the time in daily life. It's frustrating that you're not really able to join those conversations yet. And then I think it's not only about the language itself, about learning a language, because that's nice to have. It's actually about how to say that. I'm living here, I'm taking part, I make this my life, and to not feel like a guest in my own life. I am a guest in this country in a sense, because I'm not Polish, but of course this is also my life, and by not being able to participate or talk to people, of course that's also affecting my life. And I think this is like the bigger picture of it all. And what I like a lot, even if I don't notice it straight away, is when you feel those small successes, those small wins throughout the day, when you actually are able to speak to people, even if it's the most basic, like in the shop, in the pharmacy, a flower shop, anything like that. But that feels really great to have those small wins in daily life, and that obviously feels really good and motivates me to learn it properly this time and with like more consistency. And honestly, I think the circumstances, for example, my kid will go to kindergarten and school in Poland. I'm living in Poland now, my wife is Polish, that automatically creates some kind of importance. It automatically feels like way more meaningful. This is the start of my Polish learning journey, and maybe next time, another time, I'll show you how I speak Polish after learning a bit more, even if I don't get everything right yet.